the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort Casino. Fun show lined up over the next 3 hours. Great guests, including Jonathan Davis, 1 hour from right now on tonight's hockey card. And we'll get his updated thoughts after Game 1 of the East last night. Paul Stone, Week 1 numbers. DraftKings, they put him up. He has a bunch of bets in Week 1 and a couple of win totals to throw at you as well. And Matt Euman's in the program a little bit later on. And before we came on the air here, Paulie, moments ago, SGA, it's finally official. The NBA, they announced it moments ago that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your winner of the 2025 NBA MVP award. So it took long enough.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was 1 year early with him and the Thunder all around. Mm-hmm. So congrats to him.
Did you find it interesting that Michael Malone said he's the MVP last night?
Well,
after
he got canned, yeah. I mean,
also when he was so a passionate speech months earlier about how Joker should win it.
Well, if he was not canned and he was still on the Nuggets, do you think he would have said that last night if he was asked about it?
Uh-huh.
Right, but good job by him kind of sticking it to the Nuggets and his former player. That's got to feel pretty good for Joker anyway.
Nuggets fans noticed.
Yeah, no kidding. So, a lot of questions. We'll get into Hardcore Breakdown East coming up in 10, 15 minutes here on the program. Game 1 tonight, Pacers, Knicks. A lot of questions that I have after Game 1 last night in the NBA. Will the Wolves continue to shoot like that? Because it wasn't pretty. Here are some of the alarming numbers. They were also very sloppy. And I've talked about this with Minnesota now for weeks on end here about how I love their bench. One of the best, if not the best in the entire NBA. But when DiVincenzo, Reed, and Alexander Walker are going to shoot 7 of 36 from the floor and 5 of 28 from downtown, they basically have no chance to win a game. Also, DiVincenzo and Alexander Walker are 29 for 111 in the playoffs, 26%. And I was personally gutted last night by Naz Reid because I had several bets on him, and the points and the rebounds prop never came in because he was 1 of 11 from the floor or whatever it was. 0 of 7 from downtown.
Champ, I knew they were in trouble at halftime. Well, they only led by 4.
You had to love the Thunder second half.
Mm-hmm. You could have got a $1.40 money line at that point in play. And SGA was 2 of 13, yet it was only a 4-point game. And Randall was great as well. So, this reminds me of when Moss was in his prime with the Vikings, and he was unstoppable. But they would play Tampa and certain teams, and they would play a cover 2. And then after the game, they're like, well, they took him away. What are we supposed to do? They played cover 2. As if you have no creativity or imagination, and you couldn't draw something up and get the best player in the sport the ball. For Ant, after the game, to say, well, they were packing in the paint, they were taking it away. What can you do? We don't shoot 51 threes.
Yeah.
And certainly Ant got to the basket one time. That was ridiculous when he almost had that ferocious dunk. So Finch has to do a better job. He said it after the game. You're right, they got good looks. The big thing is open threes. Minnesota, 11 of 39. OKC, 10 of 16.
There you go.
That's your big boy.
Yep.
So, but I got to see what they do with the game plan and if they're just going to continue to jack threes and what they're going to do offensively. But that was a horror show to get outscored 70-40 in the second half, and I thought the shot selection was ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. I'll push back on that a little bit because, again, the open threes, 11 of 39, like you said, 28%. Those were wide open threes. I'll break it down even more. So open threes can be like 4 to 6 feet away from the next closest defender. Wide open threes means basically nobody is even in close range. Minnesota, 8 of 30 last night. Wide open threes, 26.7%. OKC was 10 of 13. I had... Like the shots that DiVincenzo and Reed were taking, I had no problem with them.
He's been terrible, by the way, DiVincenzo.
The numbers are
awful. He was so good with the Knicks. The guy can't make an open shot now.
Well, he shot 39% from downtown in the regular season, and now for him, and I'm more disappointed in Alexander Walker. Mm-hmm. I can't even play that guy right now, and they had to last night because McDaniels he fouled out of the game.
Can you play Rudy?
Well, they said no last night.
I mean, how bad is that trade? I mean, you can't, forget about drawing something up. The guy can't even give you a putback.
No, he
2 points and 3 rebounds in 21 minutes? Come on, man. So you're playing 4-on-5 on offense.
Yeah, I do think that at some point, once they fell down in the third quarter, Finch made the executive decision to say, Rudy is by far like our worst offensive option out there. We just can't play him anymore. We need to catch up in this game offensively, and that's going to have to be a combination of other players.
Well, and your guy, too, took 13 shots. Why is Ant only taking 13 shots?
I would agree.
So, they did the same thing in Game 1 against Golden State. Don't overreact. It was just a bad second half, and we'll see with their adjustments. But certainly you're in trouble now with futures in terms of hedging, because now we're up to minus $6.50, minus $7 adjusted series price. That was one you thought you could grab, and certainly you're really up against it if you can't grab Game 2, because then the series price really goes sky high. And then the OKC love affair starts now, because they were so good in the last 2 games and blowing people out, and it's going to be tough to beat them at home where they should be undefeated. The only loss was when they're up 9 with 2:30 against Denver.
Yeah, so much of this series and so much of basically any NBA game or series will play out with whichever team's going to hit the threes. We just told you about how it went last night with the open threes and the wide open threes, and I'll tie it into what happened to Oklahoma City last year when they lost to Dallas, because we reference this all the time, and it's a year ago, so many of you may have forgotten already, but they lost in the semifinals of the West last year because P.J. Washington could not miss, and here is proof. P.J. Washington shot 47% from 3 in that series. He hit like 3.8 threes per game. Everything that he put up was going in. Again, he played the best 6-game stretch of his entire career anywhere. The next series against Minnesota, even though Dallas won in 5 games, he shot 25% from downtown. In the finals against Boston, he shot 27%. He's a career 36% three-point shooter. So that's a total outlier. But if Minnesota's going to be, and I don't know DiVincenzo and Alexander Walker, I want to sit here and tell you that those open threes are eventually going to go in, but they haven't so far in the playoffs. So I do bank on Anthony Edwards here to step up and have a huge game. If you go back and look at recent losses, in games that did not turn into a blowout, and I don't think Minnesota will blow out Oklahoma City in Game 2, and I would lean towards Oklahoma City not blowing out Minnesota in Game 2 either. Ant's games after a loss, 29 against the Lakers in Game 2. On April 10th, he had 44 after a loss against Memphis. Before that, 29 against the Pelicans in a 4-point loss. He had 44 against the Suns on March 2nd. But again, they haven't lost many times. It's only the 7th loss in the last 37 games of Julius Randle. He typically bounces back in a game after a loss. So I think that 13 shot attempts from last night will turn into 20 or 25. And he would be one guy I would look to play over his point total in Game 2.
Gotcha.
But they have to win this game. Otherwise, it's completely, they're dead and buried.
Too many threes and too many turnovers. 31 points off turnovers for OKC. Can't do that. I know they have an awesome defense, but that can't happen as well. The other thing, everyone's watching. It's a big game, and then here we go. The officials have to get involved, right?
I know it.
So many fouls in the first half, but this was blowing up on social media because Doris Burke made the comment that NBA Twitter calls SGA a free throw merchant, and how he hunts for fouls nonstop, and it's too much of his game. And I know Justin Termini, Sirius XM NBA, said this is unwatchable. I can't do it. He's falling to the floor. He's getting calls. He's initiating contact. Bill Simmons, I don't care who wins this game. The touch foul calls SGA gets are awful. They don't resemble anything else that's happening in the playoffs. This has been football and wrestling, how they call it a different way now from the regular season, but this guy is treated differently like Jordan. I agree with he's a great player, but the stuff he gets away with in terms of calls and the trips to the free throw line in these playoffs, I think I agree with all these NBA people.
But unfortunately, that's the history of the NBA, and a lot of players kind of get this treatment. I could never stand watching James Harden play. Couldn't stand it. The herky-jerky crap that he would get away with. And
Trae Young, too, yeah.
Trae Young, same thing.
Yeah, the foul hunting, got to stop.
Sure. But some of the stuff that they actually called last night on him, total nonsense, man.
All the McDaniel stuff, I mean, that's coming right away. I know.
The one example of when McDaniel, first of all, the most egregious one, I think, to me last night was when you slow it down, you could actually see it in real time, but it was really egregious in slow motion. So SGA steps between the legs of McDaniels and on his foot. And as a result, that causes McDaniels to trip and fall on his face. He never touched SGA, never touched him. And there's a foul on him, and then SGA is going to get rewarded by going to the free throw line. And I don't even know if that was the worst one of the night, because the one that he banked in, he clearly was never touched again. How do you allow, you're exactly right, how do you allow a rugby match to be played for a month and a half in the NBA playoffs, but then there's one guy who's going to get away with it? And I love the guy, but I can't stand the style of basketball and a guy who gets away with it in all these calls. Drives me insane.
Yep.
Now, if he gets those calls again in Game 2, Oklahoma City wins, probably going away. It is the NBA. Will Fitch complaining and the players laughing about it in the postgame have anything to do, and will it impact the refs in Game 2?
I'm sure they'll send stuff to the league. Absolutely. They got it ready. Yep. How about the 6-point move in the total?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I thought this would be a low-scoring series, and then it'd be high-flying in the East, based on the pace in Indiana. This one, 219.5 that went off at, and you never had a chance in that game.
Well, I would say, again, Minnesota had those open looks. Instead of 11 of 39 open looks, what if they're 18 of 39,
Yeah, but also the pace, though. I mean, look what that pace was at.
So
OKC's going to have problems scoring if you don't turn the ball over and hand them 31 points as well. You saw that.
The biggest problem for Minnesota was they never should have had a 4-point lead at halftime.
That's right.
That should have been 10, 12, 15 points.
No question. I totally agree. Ready to get in on the action? First Bet has you covered. Sign up now. Access exclusive promotions. Bet on hundreds of great horse races every day right from your phone or computer. Visit firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN200. 20% rebate on all your wages for the first 60 days. Up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today at First Bet.
Is the after Game 1, is the Eastern Conference over with in the NHL?
That was alarming.
Oh, man, they are a freight train.
Hadn't lost at home. Hadn't allowed more than a goal on penalty kill. And hadn't allowed more than 4 goals in a game. And it's 5-2, and Florida went 15 minutes without a shot on goal.
Incredible. 2
power play goals. That's supposed to be your spot. Florida's coming off the Game 7 in Toronto. Oh, that's, yeah. 250
good.
250 seems cheap. 240, yeah.
Up next, a lot on the Knicks-Pacers series in Game 1 tonight. A lot of people are expecting regression from the flammable Pacers offense. We'll share the numbers coming up here on VSiN.
What's the guarantee? Eric?
Time to make history. Millions are calling. Look for the Circa Million and Circa Survivor Guarantee on May 22nd, 2025. 2 ways to win. Millions guaranteed. 100% payback.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next, a numbers game. Thursdays mean one thing, Zach and Crack. Zach Cohen, co-leader of the NBA Killer Sport Playoff Challenge, joins us to talk National Basketball Association and tennis. What he's got going in tennis today and his thoughts on the French Open. And, of course, unscripted with the Crack Man, Bill Krackenberger as well. And don't forget the Indy 500. Phil Bobbitt, Speedway Steve, joins us to break down that race and others. It's a numbers game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We have movement. Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers at the Knicks. This total got as high as 224.5. Paulie, looking at the screen right now, money on the under here on game day down to 222. Knicks a 4.5-point favorite here. Have you done anything with your Pacers 19-1 ticket yet officially?
Yeah, I had to take a little Knicks. But it's, it'd be a great discussion with our old friend Dave Malinsky because I think the Pacers win the series, and I think the Pacers are a better team. But money on the sidewalk, got to scoop it up. Pacers first quarter, why not? The Knicks starters were outscored in the playoffs. Indiana, starting 5 plus 22. Start fast, close strong, wear you down, take you out. 42-16 since January. Let's go. Great story. I know it's been 25 years. I agree with a lot of people, though. Knicks fans need to calm down. But this is great that they have game 1 here, 4 wins away from going back to the finals. The Miller, Spike Lee stuff, TNT's last series ever before they're done. So it's going to be a great matchup on paper. Hope it lives up to the hype. What's interesting is the last 7 meetings have all been blowouts, all decided by double digits. Last year in the playoffs, the first 6 games were won by the home team, and then the Knicks had all those injuries, lost Game 7 at home, and the Pacers shot 67% from 3 in that game. Even though they're here, I thought the Knicks were a disappointment during the regular season, and the offense didn't look like what I thought it could be coming into the season. But there were a couple games where they said, okay, this could be a team that could be dangerous. And one of them were against the Pacers. They took them out in a body bag on the road, torched them. And Brunson didn't do anything in that game. Cat had 40, Hart had 30. And Cat was awesome against the Pacers. And then in another meeting where Halliburton didn't make a shot, it was early in the season, and the Knicks, in a balanced attack, beat the Pacers, and everyone chipped in. Everyone had 20, except OG, who had 16 with the big boys. So I think the Pacers are the better team, and they're going to win it. I disagree with the move with the Knicks with the series price, but I think it could be entertaining in a long series and a lot of firepower here.
I think the Pacers, obviously, their depth here is going to be an issue for the Knicks as 9 players average 13 minutes per game so far in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Knicks only have 7 players who average double-digit minutes. And you know how Tibbs operates. He will grind his guys into the ground and play them 40-plus this time of year. I don't blame him. Had to do it last year with the injuries. But I do think based on the makeup overall of the teams, like Indy, they don't have a big bully down low. They don't play it like they don't have a Nikola Jokic who will take you down and slice you up. They have a lot of lengthy guys, but I think that the way the Knicks are constructed, they do as well, and they match up quite well with them on the defensive end. Guys like Bridges, guys like OG Anunoby obviously come to mind. I did see this. JVT wrote about this with Indy's torrid play on offense and how he's expecting some regression. When you look at Nembhard, Nesmith, and Siakam, their numbers so far in the playoffs are either better or like much better than what they were in the regular season. For example, Nembhard averaged 10 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 5 assists, and shot 29% from 3 in the regular season. Those numbers go to 14.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 6 assists on 50% shooting from the floor and from 3 so far in the playoffs. Does it stick like that? Does it come back to the pack?
I love them. I think they got too much talent, and they're too deep. You're right. Maybe a couple guys have an off series, right? But look how many guys they play and can score. And that's where I think the depth, and they're going to wear you down getting in these track meets. I also agree with what Zach Cohen wrote today at VSiN.com, that pace will dictate and determine this series as well.
Agreed.
But I think Indiana's going to win that. So to Von Tobel's point, in the first 2 rounds, their effective field goal percentage is 58%. That's a record. 117 points per 100 possessions also what they're doing and what they're averaging. So, I mean, we still go back to the Detroit series where the Pistons, I felt, outplayed them. And it's great to have a closer like Brunson, though, and how well they played in the fourth quarter. But I can't get past that article on ESPN.com that the Knicks starting 5 has been outscored in the playoffs.
No, I know.
So that's the big bad 5 for Indiana. And what they do, start strong, take you out in the fourth quarter, and don't panic even when they were down 19 a couple times against Cleveland to come back and win. So there's a lot to like here.
Yeah, so when they played in the regular season, here's how it went individually now for some of these players on each side of the ball. Mathurin was awesome. Did you realize that he averaged 25 points per game and shot 61% against the Knicks in the regular season? That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Turner, 19.5 points on 54% from the floor. Halliburton averaged 17 at about 44%. And then Siakam was down around 17 points on 45% shooting. Y'all know that Cat went nuts, as you just talked about. He averaged 30.3 points overall in the regular season on 57% shooting. Brunson was actually low at 22.3, but Hart averaged 22. OG averaged 19.5, and Bridges got only 11.5 points per game. But more on Mathurin here, as Dan Karpuk had a great write-up on player props for tonight at VSiN.com. He bet him over 10.5 points at even money and 20 points at 7-1. He had 20, 38, and 18 points in order against the Knicks. 19.8 points per game in 9 career games, including the playoffs, and 20-plus points in 3 or 4 games at the Garden in his short career here. This guy has eviscerated the Knicks. They haven't had an answer for the guy.
Yeah,
I played 10.5. I didn't find even money, but I found minus 110.
Yeah, and maybe the Knicks give them some matchup problems, too, with OG and Hart and how they can defend this. But I throw out what happened in the regular season, other than the Cat numbers, because he was such a problem. But, again, since December 8th, this team's 48-19. So it's a completely different Indiana team and what they're doing. Now, from the three-point, I think a lot of these guys can go over with their made threes. I do like Cat under because he was bad against Boston. He was 3 of 19 in the series against Boston. So he's 1.5 over minus 140 at DraftKings. But OG, Turner, Nesmith, I mean, a lot of these guys, even Hart, they're going to take a lot of shots, and I think this could be a high-scoring series. And that's where you see what the total is. But also, if you think Indiana's going to win the pace battle, and I do, that the Knicks will run with them, and it'll be high-scoring. And that's, I think, why you're going to see a lot of overs with that particular prop with the threes. No? Can you get there?
I can. I mean, it's the modern version of the NBA, so I absolutely can. Are you concerned that Cat did so well against him in the regular season, and the Boston series might not play into that then?
Yeah.
His cold streak that was, recent form here.
Yeah. Well, maybe he also goes down low and wants to do more work and doesn't take a lot of threes. That's possible. You always talk about the foul trouble, too, with him.
I know. So we're on opposite sides of one market here that you can bet into. You bet him at a $2 favorite for most rebounds.
That's both series.
Both series combined.
I think he'll cover. Yeah, I think he'll own the boards.
Okay, I bet. So you can. Well, I bet Josh Hart at plus 550. I know that's a very popular bet here on the network. JVT wrote about it on VSiN.com, and he's a guy that I want to bet positive outcomes on anyway with Josh Hart because he's going to play so many minutes, and he is like a stellar rebounder and compiler for a guy at his position. So I did play plus 550 on him for the most rebounds in just this series, not both combined. Are you concerned? We brought this up in the first segment with SGA getting the calls last night.
Uh-huh.
You going to be surprised what happens with Brunson tonight?
He's great at it. It goes back to when he filled in for Luka, and he became big on the national stage.
Yeah.
He's great at drawing fouls and embellishing. He's a hell of a player, but that's also something to factor in with the officiating. How about a quick door one, door two? Because I think there's pressure on the Knicks here that you're finally here and now you have home court and they're expected to win. Door one, Knicks fans, right now, you don't make any moves before the season. And you didn't make any trades and you lost to Detroit and you were the 6th seed. If it was flipped. Or door two, you would have got, after the season, you would have used all your assets and got freak. Because you went a year too early. They gave up all those picks for Bridges.
Do they still have Hartenstein from last year?
You lost him.
You lost him and you never made the move for Towns?
Yeah.
I think oh, man. And this is...
I'd have all those picks. I'd get freak. Or you could say I'd still have all those picks.
And the outcome of this series is unknown at this point?
Yes, it's right now. I'm asking you right now. Because it's a no-brainer. If they go to the finals, you say, okay, great job.
Sure.
Even though the Bridges trade was criticized. You say, hey, we got to the finals, went into the 25-year drought. But they went a year too early. I mean, you can't. They didn't know, but if you waited, Freak was available, and you would have had the best. He wants to go to New York. He could have gone to New York, and if you got to give up all those picks that you acquired Bridges for, and then you had all those assets.
That's a great question. I'm sure the Knicks fans living in the moment right now would say, forget that. We want this right now. We want it this year. And they have home court to go to the finals, so they would probably take this. I don't know if I would.
Oh, can you imagine?
Freaking Brunson and
that'd have been
some
sexy.
of the other guys.
We're hitting the road in June. College World Series in Omaha live. The 12th through the 14th, broadcasting from Rocco's, the iconic home of the Jell-O Shot Challenge. Catch money moves and follow the money live from Omaha, bringing you the sights, sounds, and best bets from the tournament. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by, say hello. Derek raving about the pizza. Menu looks fantastic. Great spot in Omaha. And that's also the week of the NBA Finals, the U.S. Open. It's awesome. Rocco's, June 12th through the 14th in Omaha.
Paulie already said that he's good for 10 Jell-O shots every night when we're there. So we'll dive into the MLB card for today. Plenty of day baseball on this Wednesday. And the tale of two teams facing a lefty tonight. One team is elite, the other the exact opposite. Details next.
If you're serious about betting this season, it's time to go pro. Right now, you can score 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's 2 extra months on us. We're talking daily best bets, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, full access to the VSiN Watch app, and all of our betting guides, including the big one, the NFL betting guide. But don't wait, this offer's gone May 31st. Head over to VSiN.com/subscribe and use the code PRO, P-R-O, to lock it in and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Major League Baseball here. Games in action. Orioles looking like they're going to get a win. Extra innings. They lead the Brewers on the road 8-4. Man, if out of any team in the league not named the Rockies, I think the Orioles probably needed a win here, right?
Yeah.
With how bad they've been going. The Mariners-White Sox game has been back and forth the entire time. Mariners with a 2-run shot to take a 6-5 lead. They play in the 8th, so currently they are minus 650 to win the game outright. How about this? I was looking at Cy Young projections on Fangraphs earlier in the week, and the numbers just were tilted towards Logan Webb to win the NL Cy Young.
Oh!
Tilted!
Come on now.
Never made a bet. I don't want to grab 10-1. He was a heavier than a $2 favorite today at home against the Royals, a team that can't hit, nor can they score runs. Well, they've tagged him for 3 already.
Yeah.
KC leads 3-0 in the 3rd.
That's a surprise. Yeah, it's funny. Look at what happened last night with the Pirates. Falter had horrible numbers against the Reds. They get a leadoff triple. They can't get him in, and the Pirates win 1-0. Are you bleeping me? I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then the Pirates win again, 3-1. Now the Reds can't hit, and again the Pirates was 26 games in a row, held the 4 runs or fewer.
That's right.
So it's just Cincinnati was so hot, and they get beat by a guy who had bad numbers.
And this, by the way, what happened earlier today, that game that they picked up from it getting suspended because of the rain, the Twins blew a 5-2 lead in the 9th, and then they came back to win it in the bottom half. That's huge for the most wins in May market. And now they're playing a doubleheader here today. It's in the 3rd inning. Paddock against Williams. They are scoreless right now. The updated line here with the total is 5.5. Twins in play minus 154. I did bet them a little bit at minus 124 before the game started. Paddock has been quietly decent. And Gavin Williams is not having a solid year at all for the Guardians. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yep. Hello, Nesson. Hello, our friends in Boston. The Red Sox jumped off the page. I wish I would have played the under yesterday. It was cold, windy, 2-0. Buehler gets tossed. But the Mets now, look at this now. The Phillies have a 1.5 game lead. And the Mets have fallen to second place. They've lost 6 of 10. They have 8 runs in their last 6 games. They've lost 5 of 6 as well. And McGill has bad numbers going back. Last 4, ERA a 7 and change. Crochet at home, $1.45. To me, the Red Sox should get it done tonight.
I'll point up some numbers here with the Mets against lefties on the year. WRC plus, their number is 110. That is 9th overall in baseball. They have a WOBA of 326, tied for 7th. They have the 4th lowest K rate against lefties on the year, hence Crochet's K prop being where it is today, which is really low. They're 8th in slugging and 10th overall in average. But their offense, as you said, man, it has been a downward spiral here for the last week or so for this team. I noticed that Dustin Sweetelson here at VSiN put this out on Twitter earlier today. He bet one of the prospects for the Mets at 200-1 to win National League Rookie of the Year because his name is Ronnie Mauricio, red hot in Syracuse, 7 for his last 11, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and he's like, look, this team's going to need an injection of offense here at sometime soon.
Okay.
That's how bad they're trending, so we took a flyer on this kid because he's so hot right now, AAA. I bet this earlier today. Logan Henderson for the Brewers has been absurd since he got called up. And I thought it was only going to be like a spot start and then send him back down from the original reports. But Logan Henderson went again yesterday. He is the only Major League Baseball pitcher in the modern era to strike out 7+ batters and earn the win in each of his first 3 career appearances. I found him today at 30-1 to win the National League Rookie of the Year. I took that over at Caesars for a decent bet. I think that generally, again, they don't like to go to pitchers. But 2 pitchers won it last year with Skeens and Luis Heel for the Yankees. And the National League, nobody jumps off the page to me as some like super stud right now that's going to run away. And by the way, Cruz, yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah.
Dylan Cruz, who people expect him to jump up,
yeah,
he was placed on the IL today.
Got hurt, yeah. All right, not bad. Okay. And one prop that jumps up, Tatis has great numbers against Gossman.
Yeah, the entire Padres lineup. They have good numbers overall.
Machado, Tatis 8-17 against them. So
Arise as well.
That's good.
Here's a bet that I made as well. Jacob deGrom, I think, is back. His numbers, his last start against Houston, 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks. He was brilliant. His last 5 starts, 1.53 ERA, 0.92 with the whip. The FIP is 2.14 and nearly a 30% K rate. A lot of those on swinging strikes, by the way. I bet him minus 130 in the first 5 against this Yankees lineup.
Yeah, okay.
That's tricky because the Rangers might not score.
I'm just going to say, why not under?
You could look at the under. Maybe that's a better bet.
2 runs or fewer. Texas, 22 games. Colorado, 24.
Oh.
Texas starters ERA last 11, 209. This is crazy. They just don't know.
Like, you know what they are?
Oh.
They're the Mariners from last year.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, the streaks continue with all these teams. You mentioned them. But the other teams in baseball that are still incapable of scoring runs.
Do the round robin. Do the yes. Yep.
So it's been Pittsburgh, KC, Tampa Bay until today, Washington, Colorado, and Texas. Dan Goodwin, who told us about it earlier in the week, we ran those numbers off. I believe it's 10-0 so far this week. Those teams, in the last 2 days anyway, Monday and Tuesday. They can't get to 5 runs.
Yeah.
Betting them straight at anything under $2, he said, and also like putting together some round robins as well.
Mm-hmm. And should maybe $1.45 against Burns.
I don't think so.
Who just shut him down. Yeah.
Now
his home road splits were alarming, and that great at home, bad on the road.
Right.
But then this last home start, he got roughed up. So it goes back to, they finally got a win, but they've been in this funk because the starting pitching has been horrendous. And here he comes out $1.45 in this one at home.
All right, a couple of other things. This Rockies unit is so awful that here at Circa, for years, they've been putting up a separate market, and that's just the alternate runs market for a team to win by 2+ runs, by 2.5 runs or more. They, from what I looked at last night on the app, they didn't even put up a 2.5 on it anymore. They put up 3.5. And the Rockies at 3.5 or plus 110. Sorry, the Phillies were 3.5 runs.
Yeah.
Plus 110. So it's every single game. And I don't think that's going to go away. Here's the reason why. This Palmquist goes for the Rockies. Phillies against lefties on the year. First in baseball in average. 4th overall in OPS. 4th in WRC+. 4th in weighted on base. 5th in slugging. So what do you want to... And by the way, the Rockies are taking money in this game. So the Phillies are down to minus 207 here at Circa. And on the run line here, they're minus 147.
They're lucky they're not 6-42. One of the wins, while we were on the air, they beat the Braves 2-1. They couldn't hit for Sale. And then they had that crazy game over the weekend in Arizona where they gave Gallen 12 runs and he couldn't get the win.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how you go to the app and say, yeah, Rockies, good value. I can't do it.
Yep.
8-40. I just don't care. Especially the Phillies are 17-3 against teams under 500. They're feasting on these bad teams, and that's why they're in first place. And maybe that's why they can win this division. I mean, you're going to play these bad teams, take care of business, move on, and that's what they're doing.
I'll give you a possible hold your nose type of bet for tonight. I haven't made it yet, but I'm pondering a bet and maybe a ladder here, as this is the reason why I think it's a little tricky. The ballpark is Sutter Health in Sacramento, and guess what? More runs were scored last night there. Temps are in the 80s tonight. Double-digit winds blowing out to left center, so it's going to be very batter-friendly.
We couldn't get they scored in the second run last night, not the first, sorry.
But there is this. The Angels against lefties on the year, and Sears is going for the A's. He's a lefty. In 238 at-bats, so that's a small sample size, second fewest in baseball. The Angels are dead last in average at 193 against lefties. They have the third worst OPS. They are the third worst in WRC+, and the second worst team in WOBA. Left-handed starters are 5-1 over their K-prop against the Angels. The Angels have a strikeout rate of 28% against lefties. That's the second highest in Major League Baseball. Clayton Kershaw, making his debut last weekend, is the only lefty to stay under his K-prop on the year. It was 3.5. He had 2. Liberatore, Corbin, Falter, Haney, Skubal all went over. The prop for Sears tonight is 4.5. Over is about plus 115. He's not a high strikeout pitcher either, but he has hit 7 Ks, I think 3 different times so far on the year. If he's going to do it again, tonight very well could be the night.
Right. Not bad. Go get him. Smarter bets start here. Last all year long with VSiN Pro. Get the annual subscription, 14 months. 14 months. Just $199. Code PRO. Kicking in 2 extra months for free, less than 50 cents a day. the Mackinnon trends, the daily email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, the dog videos, VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now, promo code PRO. Lock it in, VSiN.com/subscribe.
Giants with a run. They were just plus 250 to come back and win this game. If Webb can settle down, 3 earned through 3 today. Allowed 8 hits in those 3 innings, by the way. Jesus. Maybe that plus money in the Giants will be live here. Up next, win some, lose some. And we will react to the news from the National Football League today. Can you believe it? The tush push lives. We'll discuss next here on VSiN.
What's the guarantee? Eric?
Time to make history. Millions are calling. Look for the Circa Million and Circa Survivor Guarantee on May 22nd, 2025. 2 ways to win. Millions guaranteed. 100% payback.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, the breaking news, SGA MVP plus 450 before the season. First basket, McDaniels 9-1. Method of the first basket, three-point shot, 37-1. Crazy that offered what FanDuel has every game for that with the method. Remember Brown for Denver cashed like 110-1 a couple days ago.
Yep.
Most threes, Randall 10-1. Most rebounds, Ant 11-1.
Boy, Randall was awesome again last night.
He was. Finch is right. I got to get him more looks and get him the ball more too. He's right.
Oh, can I bring this up, by the way? We said that Naz Reid,
I couldn't believe that.
at Bet365 was 125-1 for the most rebounds. He was leading most of the game. And he was in a dead heat with about 35 seconds left.
What?
100%.
Oh.
Yep.
Hockey. For Hagee, first goal, 17-1. Anytime, 3-1. Bennett to score, 9-1. Florida, reverse puck line, -2.5. Get nuts, plus 550. Most runs, Cubbies, 17-1. In the daily leaders market. Highest scoring game, Cubs, Marlins, 11-1. Dream, plus 270. And the over, 169 up to 172. What happened to the Fever? They weren't ready for the physicality, the coach said, of Atlanta.
That was pretty much wire to wire because I had the Fever in the first quarter, and that was a horrible result as soon as we got off the air. And the Dream took him out.
So Doug Kazarian was in studio and said this is completely mispriced. DraftKings had a prop. Clark double-doubles for the season, 14.5 over -150. He said it should be $5. Well, she's 2 for 2.
2 for 2 so far.
So the assist's probably going to get there on a regular basis. All right. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Thank you to all these people who send them in every day. This is awesome. Look at the guy coming in with the fruit stand with that. That's my money, right? That's my currency. Drops it on the ground, barks, and then takes the fruit, the pineapple, and on the way he goes. It's wandering down. There it is.
Now, what did he drop off here?
It looks like is it a leaf or something? Piece of wood.
Okay,
it's like, yeah,
I like this.
How smart is this dog? Like, okay, I see people giving you money. Here, I have something. And it's a piece of wood or something. He sets it on the ground and then stands up and barks and goes, okay, I'll take my pineapple. Look, he's walking right down the road.
Yeah, sure. Well, he's going to have a fun time opening up that pineapple with his mouth.
Oh, I know. Look at him. Bringing it for the owner. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. I haven't seen these games before. Little help out there in social media land, Twitter world. Have you seen this? Ultimate X, where you get to spin? You can get something like 20 and 40 times?
Oh, my God.
I think you got to be kidding me. I think if you get dealt 3 of a kind, you can, or a full house, you get to spin the wheel in addition to the multipliers. There's a wheel up top.
This is no good for me.
Look at that. I think, yeah, look on the far right. It's a 20 times.
Where did you find this video?
Oh, it's all over Instagram. All this stuff is on Instagram with these people who go around and do this and video themselves.
Can I take the rest of the show off and go look for this game?
Okay, how about this one?
I want to play this game so badly already, Paul. You have no idea.
Wow. I've never seen this. What's it called? Stack 'em high. Stack 'em high. Slot Hustler is playing 50 cent. And then if you get dealt 3 aces, then it goes all the way up. And then it becomes like 15 play. Something like that. Now watch this. Nothing. Bam! Here comes the ace. 4 aces. So then she gets aces all the way to the top. So she gets aces like 5 times.
So once it hits at that point, it continues to go. The ladder's all the way up.
And you can. It depends on when you hit it too. If you hit it low, and then she got a couple kickers, and she wins over $3,000.
This is a new strikeout ladder in Major League Baseball or receiving yards ladder in football.
I've never seen this. Yeah, stack them high.
Well, they have to be in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's at Resorts World, I think. If I read thank you. If I can read the video.
I'm very intrigued. Just go sit down. Some of these games can be so fun. I mean, I say this all the time. As long as I can sit down and break even, I'll sit there and play for 3 hours. I don't care.
All right.
Just don't take me out in a body bag.
Lose some. T-Wolves Thunder over. 213.5 to 219.5. No good. And Carolina has lost 13 in a row in the conference finals. Anderson had been so good. Whoa, boy. One lose-some video. Great dog video. We got to get this on Instagram, Luke. The dog, they went to the restaurant. He won't leave because he sees there's chips on the table. He's like, no, I want some. It's like, you can't have that. It's left over. It's not yours. We have to go. And she's trying to get him out of there, and he's not having it. He goes, no. He keeps looking. I want a chip. Let me have a chip.
You told me I need to finish my plate.
She says
something up there. Let me get it.
Good looking dog. That's awesome. Before the line moves, Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com already there. They don't chase the market. They move it. You're not going to outmuscle billion-dollar sports books or full-time pro bettors on your own. But with the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Powered by cutting-edge AI, trusted insider sources, you bet. Jeff in the Sharp Plays does a great job delivering the edge that serious bettors rely on. Free betting reports, real-time alerts, market-moving insights, right to you via email or X. And they've been around since 2011. Receipts, public logs, results right there on the site. Respected, watched, feared. Remember, he discovered Mr. Poison. Sharp Plays. Check them out, sharpplays.com.
Now, in the NFL today, I thought, again, Roger Goodell wanted this to pass with the playoff reseeding. And then this morning, all of a sudden, the news breaks. Schefter with a big tweet.
They pulled it?
The Lions pulled it.
It got no support. They pulled it. Yeah. No support.
Can somebody explain to me why and how
they would get the owners think that's great to have a home game if you win your division, even though it's a horrible idea. Will the tush-push be banned? No was plus 250. And it wins. So this was a surprising development today as well. And what happened afterwards. Jeffrey Lurie made an impassioned speech in defense of the play. He had a Hail Mary. And at the end of his speech, he made an analogy telling the room, regardless of whether the play was banned, it was a win-win. Adding it was like a wet dream for a teenage boy to create a play that was so successful
easy, Paul,
that the only way for it to be stopped was to be banned. And then Lurie was chastised by Vincent, who says, don't talk like that. There's women in the room.
He's right. I'd say the same to you. Come on, use the medical term here.
Which is?
It's like a nocturnal emission.
Okay. He said that.
That's the WebMD term and what you learn as a kid in elementary school.
Yeah. Front page, ESPN.com. Yeah. So then Kelsey comes up there and says, I would come back to the NFL if I could run 60 tush pushes a game. And says, get out of here with your player safety. Jerry Jones asked a question. Pagula, a critic of the play, said even though it's successful for the Bills, he wants to ban it. Jed York, owner of the Niners, then said, how much more bleep are you going to say to Lurie? And he goes, okay, that's it. 22-10 was the vote. Just short, but the tush-push stays. 22-10.
Good news, right?
They did 24. Yes. Shame on the Packers, too. You know, it's to me, it's not a player safety issue, and the Bills run it successfully, the Eagles run it successfully.
The Bills are okay with it.
Right.
They're fine.
But still, with the Packers going to Kraft and also the what the Ravens were doing with Andrews, I just think that's, if you... They hate us because they ain't us.
Well, I also I do understand the part, if the offense is allowed to push from behind like that, the defense should also be able to push from behind. That only makes some sense. But I would also say a team like Philadelphia, with how successful they have been, and we brought this up on the air yesterday, even if they were to ban the tush push today, it works because of who Hurts is.
Yep.
And that's been documented 1,000 times. This guy's been squatting 600 since he was, in high school, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The offensive line is one of the best in football. But even if you took away the 2 or 3 guys that are behind Hurts and they push him to help get that extra, couple inches, the Eagles could say, okay, fine, but we're still going to swarm and group up at the line of scrimmage here. And as long as you can't push on the defensive side, we're still going to get the first down every single time, or 80% of the time, whatever it is. They would be wildly successful doing that. So,
yep.
That was a you wanted to bet on that yesterday.
I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised.
It would have been a winner.
The other thing they tinkered with the onside kick. You can now announce it. Used to only be fourth quarter. Now you can do it any point of the game, and then you can have your foot a yard closer for the team with the onside kick. And then also, what happened to the Lions' proposal about 5-yard penalties on the defense now no longer result in a first down?
Right.
Apparently that went nowhere either.
Which is another logical request from the Lions, but both of their ideas got shot down, or else they had to pull them back. I don't know.
Well, great job by Lurie, though. They go up there for an hour and the Hail Mary, and it worked. 22-10. So,
Paul, but by the way, that's a good one. The automatic first down on the defensive holding is complete nonsense.
I love it. Yeah, 3rd and 20, whatever. So automatic first down. What is a 5-yard penalty? It was 3rd and 20.
But they don't want to explore that one at all? No, we're good to go with that? And by the way, half the time, it's a real ticky-tack call that we're dealing with here.
Yes.
Guy touched him, like grazed his hand on the jersey or whatever. Okay, that's holding. Okay, really, is it? Now 3rd and 20 is automatic first down? Come on.
How many times are the Eagles going to run the play against the Packers in the Monday night game?
14 times, probably. NHL, Jonathan Davis up next. What is the path for the Hurricanes to get back into the series against Florida, if there is one? We'll ask him coming up on VSiN.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really.